If you followed the Walt Disney earnings call 2 days ago, Bob Iger had many interesting things to say. The company announced quite a few different areas that could use some work perhaps, even as we watch the stock increase over the past 36 hours. However, one area that seems to be in most need of repair, it's the attendance at the Walt Disney World Resort. While the Chinese parks may have now reopened and that lifts the entire Disney Parks segment, well, the crown jewel, the gem of the company, the biggest and baddest vacation arena ever, the Walt Disney World Resort, 40 square miles of vacation kingdom, the attendance is significantly down. We're going to talk about it and why right now. All right, folks, welcome back. It is a glorious day out there, and it's glorious because you are with us. What a fantastic pleasure it is to get to share our opinions, our analysis with each and every one of you. We are so pleased that you have joined, and if you would like to, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Joining me to talk about Disney parks, but in particular Walt Disney World, is Lorena Creole, and welcome back to the channel once more.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me. Love being here.
Always a pleasure. And folks, make sure you go and subscribe to Lorena Creole. She has a big party, a big celebration coming up this Saturday. Lorena, you want to tell the folks out there about it before we get into our topic?
Yes. Thanks to you guys. And of course, thanks to, you pro spreading the word and everything. I am now over actually 5,000 subscribers. So I'm going to have a big old chill stream on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You're invited. A couple other friends of mine are invited. We're just going to kick back and just have fun because I just can't believe I'm at 5K.
And we're so pleased for you. Of course, there's very little in this world that's more joyous than watching friends succeed. And so all the success in the world we hope and wish for you ahead. I'm sure that you are going to make that happen. Now, in terms of Disney and their success with Walt Disney World, things are not quite so, so pleasant. But let's take a look. We've got Bob Iger comments on the decline in Walt Disney World attendance. This one day ago from WDWmagic.com. Here we go. Disney CEO Bob Iger used his opening comments in today's earnings call to briefly comment on declines at Walt Disney World. Iger noted that there has been softer performance at Walt Disney World from the prior year, coming off what he described as a highly successful 50th celebration. Now, I don't even want to go any farther. I just want to stop right there, Lorena, because we need to go to you and get your take on this. You're shaking your head no. I also am shaking my head no. You can't see it. Perhaps I should get the little avatar to wiggle. But, the 50th anniversary celebration at Walt Disney World was largely considered an utter failure. There were very few things that actually came to fruition that were planned originally. We can blame it on the pandemic. I'm tired of blaming it on the pandemic because when you had the fireworks show at the Magic Kingdom be an utter bust and people wanted desperately to go back to the old fireworks shows, they would have been happy to go back to Wishes, in fact. When you had no nighttime parade as had been originally planned at the Magic Kingdom, still don't have a nighttime parade, by the way. When you had no trams running in the parking lots so that grandmothers, your 68-year-old, 70-year-old grandmother taking her grandkids to Disney World, she gets to walk all the way from Giraffe or Dinosaur and Animal Kingdom in 98-degree heat. Not a great 50th. And then you've got Harmonious, where they had the death tacos and the portal to nowhere. And that's been deconstructed. It was so bad. So they spent tons and tons of money on building that, and they had to destroy it because it was destroying their nighttime attendance at Epcot. Lorena, tell me what did not go well with the 50th, and why can we not say that success of the 50th is to blame now for the downgrade in attendance?
Again, the 50th was such a bust because there was no real, I want to say, tangible hype to it. The merchandise that they put out, the little bit that they did put out, was forgettable. Nothing that really made you think about, hey, back in 1971 when the park first opened and all this great stuff was here. It just didn't. There just wasn't that feel for it. And again, for the 50th, because before I moved to the Orlando area, I'm like, great, there's this Tron ride that's coming. That's going to be out for the 50th. It's going to be great. Well, Tron did not make an appearance. So I moved here already, but yet some people were just like, forget it. I'm not, I'm not going to go. And Pro, like you were saying, no nighttime parades. The fireworks show at the Magic Kingdom was atrocious. I heard about it. I never even went to go see it. The
Oh, you
reviews.
never got to enjoy those vocals?
Nope. I did the second worst thing, and that was I saw Harmonious. Yes, the Death Tacos and
karaoke sing along.
The Stargate. I was there. I was actually there, I think, the same evening that Chapek was there. And I'm watching the show, and people around me are like, what the heck is this? We don't get what it is. And I live streamed it, and my viewers were like, this is freaking awful. What is this supposed to be? My thumbnail guy said it looks like visual vomit. And he's just like, I can't figure out heads or tails of what this is. And people were just like looking like, you've got to be kidding me with this. So the 50th was a complete and total bust. So much so, I think Disney is so embarrassed of Harmonious. My live stream that I did, my video that I did, they waited a year until they copyright claimed that thing.
That's a great point. And Lorena, I have met people who enjoyed Harmonious. I did not. I think that partly some people enjoyed Harmonious because it's what they had seen. They had not seen the prior show that ran for decades at Epcot, Reflections of Earth. And let me give just from a practical standpoint, why Harmonious, part of the 50th anniversary celebration, was such a terrible mistake. If you are going to design a show and people are supposed to gather around a giant lagoon, right? They're supposed to gather around a lake, essentially. You want all those people to be gathered around the lake in sort of an even spread, because you have restaurants all across that lake, and all of those restaurants, they want business, and you need them to have business. So if you design a nighttime show where you have cut off 40 to 50% of all of the viewing angles because you set up a ring in the middle and you can only see the inside that ring, the projection screen that exists, you can only see from a very specific few angles. And by the way, those angles position you either close to the exit of the park, or as close as you can be, so directly behind Spaceship Earth as you're going into the World Showcase, or it places you in the absolute back end of the park. Okay, now that is a logistical nightmare, because then guests are naturally situated in the very back of your park at closing time, and you've got to migrate them out of your park. So all around, just a terrible, terrible idea. And it's hard to even imagine how somebody came up with that and said, oh, well, I know how to fix this. If we're going to do a ring where you can only see inside the ring from very specific angles, why don't we put Death Tacos up there and we'll have them be lit up with LED screens? It's like, no. So anyway, but I think that's indicative of the entire issue they had with the 50th. Now, I want to go back to the article and take a look at what Iger has to say beyond that. He says, it says, as previously mentioned by Iger, he said that as post-pandemic pent-up demand continues to level off in Florida, local tax data shows evidence of some softening in several major Florida tourism markets. And the strong dollar is expected to continue tapping down international visitation to the state. We'll come back to this, folks. Iger continued that Walt Disney World is still performing well above pre-pandemic levels, 21% higher in revenue and 29% higher in operating income compared to fiscal 2019, adjusted for Star Cruiser accelerated depreciation. Now, of course, that's giving them many, many millions of dollars just by shutting that thing down. But Lorena, here's the trickery in this. Trickery number one is that if you say that Walt Disney World is performing above pre-pandemic levels in terms of revenue and operating income, you're not saying, of course, that you're also dealing with very significantly higher expenditures because of the increased inflation. And so in other words, this 21% higher revenue and 29% higher operating income is likely heavily associated with the higher rise of inflation that we've seen post-pandemic. Everybody knows that the cost of everything has gone up. Disney is a premium luxury item. If you go to Disney, you are spending big money. They have the ability then to price that even higher. And we know that Disney's incentive, Disney's goal has been to get more money out of each guest with this nickel and dime situation of Genie Plus, Lightning Lanes, all of this kind of stuff that they're doing. And so I'm not sure that that is indicative of people having a good time at Disney. I think it's both the cost of living has increased. That means the cost of fun has increased. And then Disney has exponentially increased that through their nickel and dime monetization plan. I want to get your opinion on that, but I also want to say, too, that this thing by Iger talking about other markets are showing a softening in terms of Florida tourism. You know, I would need to see some numbers there. Iger can say that, but I need to see some numbers. I need to see hotel occupancies at like Daytona. I need to see hotel occupancy at Panama City or Miami Beach or what have you. Like, I don't know how to quantify that. How in the world are we going to go look and see, okay, what's the tourism of St. Augustine look like right now versus 2019? I don't know how to pull those kinds of numbers. So the other option that we could have here, Lorena, is he could be talking about Universal Studios. And by the way, that's the video that we'll have this afternoon. Lorena's coming back for part 2. We'll talk about Universal Studios because its lower attendance, if you can believe it, is actually a good thing for Universal. We'll explain in a little bit. But Lorena, walk us through what has Disney World been like post-pandemic with all of these layers of monetization that they have placed upon it, which may be driving attendance down.
Well, once, post-pandemic, that people did start to come back. You had the locals that were coming back, visitors from the United States coming back, and then eventually international visitors coming back. So that boosted up the numbers. But unfortunately, with what Disney was allowed to do with the Disney Plus and all of that, hiked up the cost of food, the cost of merchandise, the cost of the hotel rooms, everything, just a jacked up nickel and dime experience. Yes, they got rid of, they said, okay, well, we're not going to charge you anymore for parking at the hotels. Okay, well, fine. But everything else, the cost of everything else went up. And it's not that with the increase in cost that there was an increase in value. Speaking of the trams, they just barely started working like on a regular basis. I want to say a few weeks ago. But people are so used to walking. Lorena? Magic Kingdom is one, and the Animal Kingdom is the other.
Because I can tell you, when I was at Hollywood Studios and Epcot, they had them parked. They had them parked out of sight. In fact, they had the Epcot trams parked over behind Tron, hiding them out over there where they usually run the Disney Marathon.
There's no trams, none at Hollywood Studios. I think they had one or two at Epcot. I can't, but I remember seeing them parked because I see them parked every time I leave. But people are so used to not having the trams around, and you can tell who they are because when all these people are rushing to get on the trams, we're just like, forget it. We used to walk, and we'll just go ahead and just walk up there anyway. But with this increased cost and decrease in value, for example, major attractions are not open at rope drop. Now, usually at rope drop, all the attractions are open. That's why you go run to those first. I mean, we're talking Haunted Mansion. We're talking when it was there. Well, Splash Mountain shut down. Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion, it seems those two are down in the morning. Every morning almost.
It's getting worse. I don't know what's going on. I haven't talked to anybody lately to find out what might be happening here, but Pirates is down very often now.
Yes.
Haunted Mansion, we'll have to wait and see what, how this goes after they put the Hatbox Ghost in there for this new promotion they've got. But Lorena, you were telling me, I guess about a week ago, about an experience you had in terms of getting in line and being told by cast members, by the official board, what the wait was going to be. And you sort of had this feeling that that wasn't true based on your experience at the parks and knowing, when you arrive at a certain length of line, how long that's going to take. And you heard someone ask in line, ask a cast member, is it really this long? And the cast member said, yes, as they're required to do. I want you to tell us about that story. And also I want your take on, do you think that Disney, I don't know that I don't want to make a hard claim here, but do you think that Disney has incentive to pump up those queue times, since those queue times, those wait times for the attractions are public knowledge, and could potentially make them look bad if they're really short.
Hmm.
Oh, one more thing, Lorena. I just thought of this too. If those wait times are short and they're listed as short, that's less people who are going to say, you know what, we need Genie Plus today. If they're longer, the folks are going to say, oh man, we got to get Genie Plus. This ride takes an hour. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. So let's see. What was that? Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. After all my years of visiting parks, like you were saying, you get an idea of the difference between the posted wait time and where you are when you first join the queue. So got in the queue, wait time posted was 40 minutes. I'm like, this is quite early in the morning. I do not think that it's going to be 40 minutes. The people behind me very wearily asked the cast member, 40 minutes, is the wait really 40 minutes? Cast member's like, yeah, it's 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes. They're like, okay. I'm thinking, no, it's going to be like 20 probably.
Right.
And I was off by 2 minutes.
So 20 minutes. So it was half of the listed time, of course.
Half of the listed.
How much is it costing? How much is it costing for people to buy Genie Plus, Lorena? What are we talking in terms of a family of 4? How much are they spending beyond just the ticket price?
Well, it's going to depend on the day. It could be anywhere between $15 a person.
We haven't seen 15 in forever.
No, I've been hearing like 20, 25, almost close to 30 for I call like the pre-canned bucket of.
You're going to see 15 when hurricanes are coming towards Disney. That's when we'll go back to $15.
Yeah. And the sad thing is people are paying it because they're just like, if I don't do it, then there's going to be these long, huge lines. Because getting back to the lines, if the lines are short, like you were saying, people aren't going to see a need to buy Disney Plus. But also, if the lines are short, it really sends the signal that the parks are not that busy. And they're trying to say, that no, parks are fine. Parks are fine. Attendance is fine. There's nothing wrong, but it's just like, yes, there is when I'm getting in lines and they're half the wait time that they used to be. When Spaceship Earth is a 5-minute walk on at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right. And for those who don't know, it's the first attraction you pass by. So, and newbies will often try to get on Spaceship Earth, not knowing that it'll be essentially empty later on in the day, and you can come back and hop on, with no wait, and you're missing out on the big attractions. Although, fair enough, Epcot has emptied out the big attractions, I suppose, as they've turned it into a construction zone. But
yes,
Lorena, I don't want to be Walcott, where the paint is actually chipping off the walls because they've been up so long. But Lorena, I don't want to be totally negative here. Everything is not, all rain clouds and sadness at Disney. So I'll tell you a few of my things that I think are working in its favor. And I think that Disney should use these as ideas going forward to try to drive attendance back up. By the way, I don't think that this is a wise idea to limit your capacity artificially, to drive down your attendance and try to get the people who are attending to spend far, far more. I think that's a terrible business model. I think you should be increasing attendance. And then people should walk away from the experience believing that they've received, excellent value, and that was the proposition that Disney did for decades at their parks. Apparently, that wasn't good enough. But anyway, the things that I think are working well, the water parks, I still think are phenomenal value. I think the fact that there are no Genie Pluses or Fast Passes inside the water parks mean that they function as they're supposed to, and we would be, I think, we'd be better off if the parks got rid of Genie Plus. Jack the price of the tickets up if you have to. Whatever it takes, get rid of Genie Plus. I dislike it. I dislike the mobile app and all of that. But back to positives, when we're looking at some of the things that Disney has done in terms of Cosmic Rewind, I think that's a win-win. And I think, some would say, some Epcot purists would say that they don't like the IP where it is. But I think in terms of what Disney could do to get the attendance up, they need to look to some of these attractions that just make people happy. Like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It just makes people happy. Cosmic Rewind, maybe in the wrong location, but it still makes people happy. What they need to do is they need to make more of those. And I know it's going to be expensive, but this is your crown jewel. This is the gem of the company. This is the Vacation Kingdom. This is way bigger than Disneyland. This is way bigger than Disney in Europe. This is way bigger than anything you've got in China, where you're getting something like 20% of the total revenues off that. So who cares anyway? But, with Disney World, build, Disney, build the things, because what you've been doing when you swap out the attractions, when that goes well, it's great, but it didn't increase capacity. Build. Lorena, what do you think they could do to improve their situation?
Oh man, besides building, bring back, experiences that everyone, can enjoy. Bring back the electrical parade in the evening.
Absolutely. Or bring Paint the Night over.
Bring, things like that bring that Disney magic that, that people love so much. One thing that they are doing right, although I don't like the price tag, but I'm going anyway because I love the experience, is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. They do a bang up job with that every year. There's so many, meet and greets of characters you don't see, and the characters out there in their Halloween costumes, and there's candy, and there is a fireworks show that is absolutely insanely, amazing. Just bring back experiences, like that. In the parks, meet and greets of characters you don't see. Bring back, some things that give people value, for their dollar. Get rid of the dessert parties.
You don't like the Tomorrowland Terrace being used as a giant ice cream bar and having that thing roped off all the time?
No, I walked by one of those parties. I wanted to throw tomatoes because I'm just like, I just remember as a kid, it was, you get something there, and long as you get your spot, you're fine. And you could see the fireworks, and you didn't have to pay $90 a head plus tax just to be able to do that.
And, if you got to tear it down, I hate it's been there since the beginning, but that area is badly dated. If you want to replace that with something really cool, that would be great. I would love to see the bypass Main Street actually turned into something. Put in the theater that you promised so long ago. Magic Kingdom needs better capacity. It needs hour to hour, morning until evening, more ability to navigate Main Street. So put it in, Disney. Quit. I'm so tired of replacing one ride with another ride and then hoping, that it'll be of the same quality. And in terms of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, expecting that it will not be. So we had Josh Harris on not long ago. He has done statistical analysis and determined that, at least in the Magic Kingdom and probably accelerated in the other parks, there's actually far less to do today than there was in 1994, which he believes is the apex of when there was the most fun to be had at Magic Kingdom. So all of that, I think, is contributing. I think that this pie in the sky, whistle past the graveyard kind of mentality out of Disney, although what else are they going to do publicly? But I think this, really they need to get away from it. They need to admit they have a problem at Disney World because, in my opinion, Disney World will lead the other parks. And so if they are over monetizing and over leveraging the wallets of their customers in Disney World, don't be surprised if Disneyland follows. Don't be surprised if we see the same thing in Paris. Lorena, final thoughts on this topic before we wrap up this one. And then, folks, don't forget, this afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to talk about Universal Studios. Its attendance is also down, but shocker, it's for a good reason, and Universal is probably happy about it. I know that is that should flummox you for a bit, but we'll talk about it soon. But Lorena, final thoughts on Disney World attendance in 2023?
I don't see attendance really increasing. There's not really much news out of Disney that makes you, we're excited to go there. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is basically just, an overhaul of a much beloved attraction to something that pretty much appears to be less than. And the more Disney tries to increase prices and not giving you that perceived value, and you're not seeing the Disney difference, people aren't going to really pay to go. They're throwing out all of these, I call them coupons, to get locals to come to the park, but it's not really constructed to make money from the locals. It's done to make money from the people coming in from out of town. So I don't see attendance really increasing for Disney World until they make true concerted efforts to bring back or bring attractions that are exciting, bring back value, and bring back the Disney difference that a lot of us know and love and miss.
And Lorena, I really appreciate you bringing up earlier the after hours events that they've been doing. Those have been highly successful for Disney. No telling how much money that's making, and that is largely being driven by the locals who choose to come to those. It essentially functions as a second ticket, so that they have 2 tickets in a single day, where you have one group leaving and then the next group comes in for the late nights. But so that works very well for Disney. We're not going to hold anything against them there. But in terms of just their overall attendance, it's time to get things fixed. And the way to fix that is to treat your guests the right way. Disney did it right for so long. Hopefully they can get back to it. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. The conversation here, well, it has come to a close. But the commentary begins with all of you, and you all are the electricity that drives all of it. So we cover your comments. We care about what you think. Drop a comment down below and let us know what's in your mind. It is the time to do it. Folks, we will have the second part to this talking about Universal coming out at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the day that both of these videos arrive. We hope you enjoy. And on behalf of Lorena Creel and myself, as we go to this next video in just a few hours, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Well, you see, I wanted to get some inside scoops on Disney and their, different corporations, if you know what I mean. So I figured, by looking into this fistbowl and sucking it randomly with my own energy that I paid for, you paid for, I could do the whole experience where you can be a master and spy on your targets.
You're an idiot. If you want to get the inside scoop on Disney, or even other media organizations, you should check out thatparkplace.com and subscribe to WDW Pro's YouTube channel. That'd be way easier, more accurate, and, less dumb.
Are you saying I won't get accurate information this way?
No, you can't.
Who'd have think?